Hello, before I get into my Modern Warfare 3 commentary and gameplay, I would like to say one thing first. On Good Friday, the 6th of April, at approximately lunchtime around noon, a F-18 Hornet crashed into an apartment complex in Virginia Beach, Virginia, my hometown. As it stands, 3 apartment buildings got damaged, and 6 apartments actually got destroyed by the impact and the fire resulting. Luckily, only 4 civilians got injured. 1 immediately got released from the hospital. Both the pilots, as reported, had ejected, and I believe are currently still in the hospital. I would like to say my prayers for all family members, civilians and military alike, and Godspeed you, and I hope for a speedy recovery, that you can return to a normal life. Please stay with me for a quick moment of silence for those families. Thank you.
Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Sinzarath. How are you guys doing today? And I want to thank you for that quick moment of silence. I call this segment the MP7 Thief. Why? Because every time I kill somebody or somebody died next to me, whether it's enemy or friendly, there was an MP7 there, I picked it up and I just went apeshit with it. So let's move right into this commentary because I'm actually kind of short on time on this video. I cut it way too much. So I met this girl about, I was 25 years old, so about 8-9 years ago, and I met her online, which was my first mistake. However, we ended up talking for about 6 months or so before we decided to meet, which was I thought was a good time. So she ended up coming down from Washington, D.C., and she was, by the way, 28 years old, and we hit things off right away. She proceeded to tell me she had a 10-year-old son. She had him when she was 18. You guys can do the math, and I had no problem with that, So we moved right on from there. Another few months passed by, and she said, she wanted to move down from D.C. to Virginia Beach. She had good things going for her. She was smart. She had education. She went to college. She had a good job. She was making good money. Her kid was a good kid. So I really didn't have a problem with it. But I told her, I can't afford to get rid of my apartment right now. So she decided to pay for that, and she put $800 down for me to get out of my apartment, which over a period of the next few months, I actually ended up paying her back. So we moved on, and we moved into this new apartment at $1,600 a month. Now I was a lowly E4, and we had an agreement that she would pay for half the rent and half the food and everything else. That never happened. I ended up having to use my credit card on multiple occasions just to keep food in the house, keep the electricity on, keep the cable on, etc., etc. You guys can only imagine. Also, I found out she was not very hygienic. Dishes were starting to pile up. I was cleaning dishes. I was doing housework, I was doing a lot of it. I was doing all of it because she just refused to. Another month or so goes by, and she proceeds to tell me that she actually had a 2-year-old son that she ended up having to put up for adoption because she couldn't afford having him. And she created a P.O. box in town to get pictures of him from that particular family because she didn't want him to get crunched up. She ended up showing me the pictures. I was like, okay, whatever. Moving on. Well, another couple months go by, and she says, it sucks turning 30. I'm like, what do you mean turning 30? You're supposed to turn 29, if anything. Well, I didn't want to tell you because I was shy about my age, and you were 25. At this point, I'm 26, etc., etc. So I pretty much caught her in 2 lies at this point. Well, because I couldn't afford the apartment, we decided to move into another apartment that was $400 a month cheaper. So we moved into that one. She decided to get some cats. Cats she didn't want to clean. As a matter of fact, she was so dirty and so lazy that she ended up buying a automatic kitty litter that would automatically scoop the poop out of the litter and put it in a little bin that all you had to do is put the lid on top of the bin and throw it in the trash. Well, she didn't do that. She left it all up to me. So when I didn't do it, the shit ended up laying on the floor. The cats didn't want to go in the litter box because the machine couldn't handle it, so they ended up going all over the carpet and, pee and poop all over the dining room carpet. I was pretty upset about that. As the time moved on, one night I was actually sleeping in bed. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning. She storms into the bedroom. I was getting ready to go work the next day, and she's hovering over me and just starts screaming at the top of her lungs. I didn't even know what was going on. It was the weirdest thing ever. So I decided to leave the house because I didn't want a confrontation to get physical. She gets in front of the door and says, "Hit me, motherfucker, hit me." I was like, what? She wants me to hit her? So I decided to leave, and I push her out of the way, and I get to my car. She picks up her son out of the bed, who's awake by now, I'm all yelling, and follows me down the street going 80 miles per hour. Mind you not, in a 45 mile per hour zone, which is quite crazy. I end up calling the cops as soon as I hit the highway. The cop gets patched through by the dispatcher, and he tells me I'll meet you at a convenience store. I meet him at the convenience store, and he tells me, look, this is Virginia. She's a woman. She has a child. You need to get out of the apartment. I'm like, wait a second, it's my apartment. Everything is in my name. The furniture is all mine. I can't just leave it behind. Well, that's just the way it is. So I end up going home trying to reconcile things. She's already asleep, and so is her son. The next morning, I was asleep on the couch, mind you not. The next morning, I get up, and she pretends like nothing ever happened the night prior. It was the weirdest thing ever, like totally bipolar. At this point, I know already this relationship is over, but I was already financially in debt at this point. I had a zero credit card starting out, and now I'm looking at about $6,000-$7,000 in the hole just to pay food and electric and everything else because she wasn't giving me a penny for any of it. She was completely mooching off of me, and I knew this by now. I ended up moving on, and at some point, I ended up meeting her 21-year-old brother. Well, they get into an argument. I get into an argument with her, and this is like, she ends up telling me, look, this is not my 21-year-old brother. I'm actually 37 years old, and this is my 21-year-old son. I'm like, what? She's 37? Now there's another lie. Everything is just adding up to nothing but lies and deceit at this point. Well, I was getting ready to get deployed, so I already told her the relationship was over. So she moved out to another apartment. I went on deployment. We stayed in a little bit of email contact. She actually asked me, am I going to take care of the credit card? Mind you not, my credit card now is at $11,500. I'm like, yes, I will take care of credit card. You don't even worry your pretty head about it. So I'm moving, I'm going on deployment. I end up coming home. I try to get an apartment, but my credit score got denied because I dropped from a 688 down to a 555. If anything, my credit score should have gone up because I actually paid the entire $11,500 off while I was on deployment. Come to find out, the lady was nice enough to let me see the credit score, and she says, well, you had an American Express card at $7,000 in your name foreclosed because it never got paid. It was a no rewards card. So I ended up calling American Express, and they said, well, yes, Sally's Beauty Supply, this and that, and she was using the card. She had gotten the card while I was deployed. She actually had the card while she was with me. I just didn't know about it. What she did is she went and had the mail sent to her P.O. box from my old address, pulled it out, and started using it, and put me $7,000 in the hole. I ended up calling the cops. The cops actually told me, sir, what are you doing with a 42-year-old woman? I didn't have to pay a penny because American Express took care of it. Well, that's all, guys. Take care. Talk to you later. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. Peace.